All right, I took a little break, got something to eat, and then sorted all this stuff. This is all the stuff we're not going to strip. The Romex, I get a really good price for this. It's not really worth my time stripping it. We got a bunch of number 2 in here, SO cable. That's borderline. I think I did a video on that and it really wasn't worth stripping this stuff. This is all the number 1 I'm not going to strip. And this is what we got so far. That's a little borderline, but that's all that's going to be in there for the brown stuff. The rest of this is pretty much bright and shiny. And I've sorted this whole pile here. There's some thicker stuff down the bottom. I will strip this, these spools right here. I'll dial the machine in and it'll pretty much strip that in one pass. And then this is all the aluminum we have. It's $1.05 a pound for this stuff, so we will be stripping all of this. And this is going to go really fast. I don't have any more bins, unfortunately. I might just use that for all the aluminum wire, and then temporarily I'll throw some extrusions on top of it, because that's not going to fill that whole bin up. So this is going to be a little tedious. I'm going to hit the time lapse and just blow through that real quick, and then we'll get a weigh in on this copper. I forgot to get a price for this, but I'm pretty sure I get like $2.40 a pound, almost the number 1 insulated price. It might be $2.50, I don't know, but I know I'm getting like $2.75 or $2.70 something. I got it written down right here, $2.85. So that Romex has got to be $2.50 or something like that, $2.40 something, and $1.10 on the number 2 insulated, and $3.90. We're getting back up in that $4 a pound territory for that bright and shiny. I got this little BX. I will strip all this. It's pretty simple. Probably gonna do that in a live stream, but hopefully we got about 500 or 600 pounds in here. I'm thinking when we're all said and done with the wire, we should have close to like 600, 650 pounds of stripped. So I'm gonna get right on knocking through this pile. All right, I got that all cleaned up. Now I do still have some more wire to strip that I'm gonna strip later this evening, but I'm gonna do a live stream and strip that stuff live, put it in that basket over there. This is what we got prepped so far. Nice chunk of bright and shiny Romex. Not sure on the price, I kind of lowballed it. This is the insulate that I'm not gonna strip, and then that's the number 2. And with today's pricing, so this is what we got ready to go. We had 67 pounds of number 2 insulated, $1.10 a pound, $73.70. Now I got these prices today, so these are current prices. I forgot to get the Romex price, so I did guess on that. 168 pounds of the number 1 insulated that I'm not going to strip, $2.85 a pound, $478.80. The Romex, we had 121 at $220. I think that's a low number. $266.20. And then the Bear Bright, 687 pounds at $3.90 a pound for $2,671 or $79.30 for a total of $3,498 prepped and ready to go. Now we probably got another, I'm gonna say at least 100 pounds, another almost 400. I think by the time we're done, we're gonna be at $4,000. I'm pretty sure I can pull 4,000 in copper. That's almost the rent here in the building. So we need to pull another $1,500. I'm sure we'll get a few hundred out of that, and we haven't even begun to dabble into the light. I don't know if I'm gonna get to any of that tonight. I might pull those lights apart real quick, and then mill around here and pull some copper. All right, we got all that cleaned up. Missed a little nugget here on the floor. Now I do have a little bit more wire there, and there is some out here that I'll probably sort here in a minute. I gotta take a break and get me some lunch. Now it is the next day. We got 881. That's 50 and 31, so it's literally 800 pounds. And then that doesn't even affect it. So we got 800 pounds at $3.90 a pound. That's not bad. And then I forget what this was, but we got all that cleaned up, and I just broke this pallet trying to move it. I'm trying to get these LEDs up in the building. I want to knock them out real quick and then start tearing into that trailer tonight. There's a lot of nice aluminum in there. Some of it's clean, ready to go. Some of it needs just a little bit of prep, but we're gonna get a lot of extrusions. I got a couple more nuggets of wire right here I need to deal with, and yeah, we're just gonna keep scrapping. I have to clean this stuff up, take a load to Miami in the morning, and then I have to run all the way up to almost Daytona. They have a massive like dumpster full of lights up there. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to fit it on a trailer. I'm gonna have to bring a bunch of tools with me, Sawzall, so I can compact everything down. But it's gonna be a long day for me tomorrow. But I gotta get as much of this stuff out of here tonight as possible. I'm just stuck in a dream. For the ocean, I'm at the bottom of the sea. All right, we got all that stuff cleaned up. I'm gonna wrap it up for tonight. This is where we're at on that aluminum. I know I time-lapsed the whole thing because I already showed that stuff in another video. We had 1,258 pounds of cast aluminum at 63 cents a pound, $792.54. Then we had 314 pounds of extruded aluminum, $1.05 a pound, $329.70, and then I had the sheet aluminum, 100 pounds, 63 cents, $63, for a total of $1,184. I paid $250 for that, so we gained $934, and it literally only took me like 3 hours to process that. It took me about, I'd say, not even an hour, probably 30 minutes. The guy loaded that stuff with a forklift, and then I drove it 2 hours back from Miami. I had to come back anyway, but let's just say, call it 3 hours, 3 hours processing. So I made $934 in basically 6 hours. Now I will have to take it down to Miami, but we got so much scrap, man. I got scrap everywhere. So I created another bin. I know it's kind of hard to see, but this is all sheet, and it's only filled to there. I got more sheet around here. I'm gonna fill this out. We got to go through all this stuff. We're gonna fill all these bins, man. We're gonna have a load of aluminum. I packed the extrusions on top of all the electrical wire, and then when I get into Miami, I'll just throw all this extrusions in another bin. This is all the cast. It's literally a full bin here. And then I have one more empty bin. Probably going to use that for cast aluminum, because I haven't even gotten to that trailer. And we are absolutely just loaded with scrap right now. There's just scrap everywhere. So I'm gonna wrap this stuff up. I gotta get on the road early in the morning. I should go down to Miami, but unfortunately, wow. Never seen that many lights on the bottom of a helicopter before. I don't want to drive 2 hours south, 2 hours back up here, and then I have to drive 2.5 hours north. I'm just going to drive the 2 hours north and go get the lights before they disappear. Looks like it's going to be a whole trailer load. I'll have to bring some tools. And I don't even know how we're going to get all this aluminum on the trailer, but we're going to have probably one of the biggest loads I've had in a while. And then I found out some other bad news. For the guy that I'm going to pick these lights up, that same job, me and Oliver went down to Miami and picked up the lights. They were stealing the lights. The next time they were putting them down at the bottom of the poles before the guys could come back. People were coming by stealing them. I missed out on the whole second half of that job, man. That kind of sucks, but I got to, I'm kind of tired of the lights and trying to schedule going around and get them. I really got to get geared up to just buy stuff right from the scrap yards and just buy tons of material at once and then focus on that. Get this thing dialed in. Those of you that watch my live stream, I showed the video of what I'm actually replicating, and it is some next level stuff. So I need to really push on that. All right, we got a nice, pretty much cleaned off table. Couple little trinkets down there that need to be disassembled. I'm probably going to hook the jaw up because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be liberated with that. But I had to use the forklift to get the tailgate off of the trailer. Everything was so compact, and then it literally just like exploded out the back. So this is, when I say this trailer is packed, man, it was like a game of Tetris packing this stuff in here. And then I'm pretty sure these black fixtures right here are extruded aluminum like them other ones. And we have this extruded pole. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of extrusions in here. So we got our work cut out for us. I'm gonna try and work my way into this thing, man. I'm gonna put on some boots because this is some pretty heavy stuff. So I'm not gonna worry about like the steel and the there's a bunch of fluorescence line in this. We had to make some extra walls basically to contain this stuff, but a lot of this stuff is pretty much taken apart, partly taken apart. So I think it'll come apart, you know, relatively quick. It's just gonna get it out, get it on the table, clean it up as much as possible. Now, I'm gonna be doing this inside because it's kind of hot out here right now, and you know, I just like working on the workbench. It just makes everything so much easier. So I'm gonna take a quick break, get something to eat, put some proper footwear on, and then we're gonna dig into this. Now, unfortunately, I'm not expecting a lot of transformers. It's a sad deal, but we are gonna pull a lot of aluminum, heavy cast, and some extrusions. So hopefully we'll get to that $7,000 mark. We can pull a bunch of this extruded aluminum out. I think we can get there relatively quick. Okay, here we go. We got a absolute mess going on right now. What I'm gonna do is pull this stuff out of here. I'm not gonna process some of this stuff. I'm gonna worry about the heavy cast. I need this bin so that I can dump all the heavy cast in it. And then I'm gonna take this, look how thick this extrusion is. That's super thick. I think what I'm gonna do is get my skill saw down and just cut this with the skill saw real quick. It'll be way faster than a Sawzall or bandsaw or anything else. Or maybe I'll try the bandsaw, I don't know. It looks like it's got a deep enough throat. It might cut it. But what I want to do, I measured the width of one of these and how wide the light fixtures I picked up yesterday are, and I can get like 2 of them on the side, so I'll have to like offset the thing a little bit, but I can run a lot of those boxes with these. So I'm gonna fill this with cast as much as I can. That way I can put 4 of these totes on the trailer, and then I'm gonna work on a bunch of them boxes tonight. So I'm gonna go find my my gloves real quick. We're gonna sort this stuff and start this party, man. We got a lot of scrap. I got scrap for days. My main problem right now is my steel trailer is full of scrap. I got nowhere to put the steel haul. I got so many pallets full of random stuff. I got no pallets. I'm like kind of gridlocked right now. I did, when I was out picking up that stuff for my buddy today, gotta calm that down a little bit. I did meet a guy that has an awesome dump trailer. I want to try to make a deal with the guy. I feel like I'm not going to mess with this right now. Nice piece of aluminum. Funny. My generator guy, I went and picked up a bunch of transfer switches from one of my customers. And this was actually the lid for the, he had made a lid. My generator guy is the one that made the lid, and then my customers, it's a small world, man. Anyway, I gotta check this. I think this is copper and brass. I got a little pile of this outside. Put that here for now. Okay. scrap that later at another time. Now, whatever this is going to be interesting. Then I have another thing. I'll probably do them on a live stream. That's either aluminum or copper. Scrap tool. Like brass and copper. Yeah, this whole thing, I mean, there's like little bits of copper, but it's pretty much all brass. This is copper and brass. I think there was another one of these somewhere. When we get the jaw set up, we'll clean this. We'll cut that right there. All this is copper. That's pretty thick. Alright, let's see what we got here. Oh. We got some really corroded stuff. Pretty sure I did these before, and these things here are extruded aluminum. gotta deal with these giant poles right now because they're just in the way. I'm gonna attempt to use the bandsaw. Say that was probably faster than a Sawzall, but I think the skill saw is going to be much faster. The only problem is I don't think we're going to penetrate all the way through. penetrating all the way through, but it is cutting way faster. What I'm going to do is pre-cut it with that and then finish it off with the bandsaw, or I could flip it, but whack the end off with the bandsaw. Another one insulated. That's pretty much strippable. I'll tell you where we're going, right to the scrap yard. Watch it. Look, it's dancing. You ever seen your copper dance before? Big old chunks of brass in there.